Do we have the freedom to run AI locally? As we already discussed, can we make our own AI on our own system locally? Today's topic is huge, like it would take multiple sessions, I think. Can we run AIs on consumer grade hardwares like on laptop, desktop, mobile, smartwatch, television, even on television? Yes, because nowadays television is also having some kind of CPU, memory, RAM, each and everything, and having an entire operating system. So technically, yes, it is possible to run AI models on televisions, even on headphones like small earbuds. All are equipped with CPU, processor, and memory, each and everything. And especially if you go for a heavier budget earbuds and microphones, all those already come with noise suppression and voice quality enhancement like various add-ons. And within browser, yes, I have already implemented those type of small AI models within a browser. And what are the hardware capability? Like CPU, it can run on GPU, NPU, TPU. By the way, TPU still not available on consumer grade devices. So in our case, CPU, GPU, and NPU would be our main target. What are the software and tools we need or are available freely that we can use to run AI locally? Those are Olama, LM Studio, as I have worked with Llama CPP. Those works on CPU, especially on CPU, very well. Hugging Face transformers, it's better to have a dedicated GPU to run those models, especially GGUF ones performs very well on GPU. There we have Comfy UI, Automatics Stable Diffusion UI. It is a bit complicated one, I found. There are other ones like Invoke AI and Neural TTS and STT. TTS and STT is simple, like speech to text and text to speech. These models acts like a input and output mechanism for the actual AI itself. And we will find some extra points like context window, parameters, architecture, capabilities, training data, training methodology, performance metrics, and evaluation. So it is going to be a long session for today. I don't think it will be able to combine in one session. We can continue doing multiple session on those topics, and we will search and evaluate using some simple question. The simplest one is high because the context window is minimal, and we can easily evaluate the loading time and the initial response time. And poem and some information like big and small. Big information like what are the prime ministers of various countries, and small things like what is a mayor of this specific region or city. So those are small minute details. See, if the model is huge, you will be able to pack up a large quantity of data, and data along with the history, like what is the history of prime ministers of India. If you put all those information, the model gets heavier, and it is very tedious and time consuming to run those models on consumer grade hardwares. So it's better not to put a lot of information in this model. So we will evaluate multiple models regarding those terminologies, and we will discuss why AI. What are the things AI can do? Like it can provide information, it can provide some ideas also. It can write or speak poem, and it can provide stories. Like it can literally can say stories in human like voices, and also it can generate text for the stories also. It can generate codes, like as a developer or programmer, we used to write codes by hand. And nowadays the AI can be very helpful generating like lots of boilerplate codes, but still you don't expect the AI to build all the things you currently building. Generate and edit image, audio, and video. Yes, it can generate and edit both. It can generate audio, video, image, each and everything, and it can edit and modify those images already. So there is a mechanism is coming, especially from those camera makers. Like if it is a original captured image, or it has been tampered with some kind of AI or some kind of manipulation, there are simple mechanism to it. What I understand, I don't know the full details, but what I can say, it is based on some kind of cryptographic manipulation, so that If the cryptography does not match with the content or contains a signature, then it should be considered as a edited image. Last, we'll discuss regarding applications, like what are the application we can apply or we can make. Like as a translator right now, still we use translators as human translator. That means there are some humans, they translate big people's conversation. Still we use that only, but those are very expensive as a real human being is deployed. So if simple people like us or less valuable people like us wants to try an translator, we can leverage the power of AI and we can have our own translator. As we already know, there are various devices available to perform the specific task itself, but nowadays mobiles can do a lot of translating works, but all those softwares and tools came from big tech companies. The question is, can we as simple individual or indie developers, can we make some kind of tools like those? Yes, I have made those in past, and there are several free and open source technologies are already available, so we can take the benefit of those tools. Self-driving cars and robots, yes, those are still in hand of big tech companies. Still it requires a lot of commodity hardware and money, so those are not for indie developers. Audio and noise separation, as I already discussed, like each and every headphone nowadays comes with noise separation technologies. Those are built into those tiny teeny earbuds itself. Now it's time to dive into CLI and let's try to test those tools. First, of course, we'll try Olama because it is the most simple one and widely accepted. Especially, it has the capability to run within a CLI and it can provide a built-in API so that you can communicate with that API and you can make multiple application on top of that. Easily you can integrate within any website, web application, even with mobile application or desktop application. So we'll dive into Olama first. To run Olama, it's better to have a look on the website, like how it is getting installed, what are the operating system it supports. It's a pain, as we know majority of the people are running Windows as their daily operating system. Yes, it is supported on Windows, but I am now on a Linux system, especially Arch based. But I don't say I use Arch, by the way. On Arch, it is very simple and easy to install Olama because you need only one command like OLLAMA, and if you type enter the operating system, that means the terminal will ask, do I continue to installing the Olama instance? And Olama comes three variations. One is CPU and two other are GPU. One is dedicatedly for the CUDA architecture. That means you will be able to take leverage your powerful beefy NVIDIA GPU. Another one is ARCOM or AROCOM GPU. Those came from AMD. Especially AMD provides very price efficient hardwares, so I like them most. Another reason I don't like NVIDIA is because of the closed source nature of their technologies, especially the CUDA architecture. I wish I could have the power to provide a better platform or solution for the CUDA platform. After you successfully install the Olama CLI tool, second comes to get some model or any model. Third would be to start the Olama, and finally we can start using Olama and discuss some basic operating system, Linux and CLI related tools, because those are necessary to understand how to run those commands especially and communicate with other systems. Like right now I am logged into D12. It is residing on another place and I have SSH'd into that system so that I can run heavy models over here. See, if I type NVTop over here, you will see this one is having 12 GB of VRAM. That means this GPU is having 12 GB of memory so that I can run heavier weight models over there. My laptop don't have that much of GPU power, so we need SSH, the tool to work on a remote system. Another tool we need is having a terminal. There is multiple terminal. I like the Ghosty terminal. Here we see the Ghosty terminal itself, and especially one specific functionality on the terminal nowadays I got to know from the Chrome OS is like whenever you select some something, it gets copied automatically. It is a very useful tool and it is a very useful technique. So I enabled that on my XFCE terminal. It is working fine, but when it comes to Ghosty, it gives a annoying pop-up each and every time I select this. That is the reason why I had to drop using Ghosty. Right now I am using XFCE terminal and it is working fine. See, I can increase and decrease the text size easily. I can navigate using multiple tabs. I can use fish shell as my default one. So there we go. We need a terminal, we need SSH, and to SSH you need the user ID and password. It's better to have SSH copy ID so that later on you don't require any password to use that system. See, I have copied my SSH ID over the D12. Right now I will be able to SSH into D12 without entering password. Let's see if I can do that or not. It is still asking. Oh, I see the permission denied. Let's do it manually. I'll have to copy the public key. See, as I have selected this piece of text, it is already copied to the clipboard, not only for this session, directly to the operating system's clipboard, so that I will be able to access this piece of copied information to any application. Those are very hard to come by on Vim or NeoVim or those type of NeoVim distributions. By the way, that is also a reason why I don't like Vim or NeoVim related applications. See, I have some issue regarding this SSH folder. See, the SSH folder, owner of the SSH folder and the group is also belongs to the root user. So I need to change the ownership thing first so that I will be able to manipulate SSH functionality and IDs. Let's first change the owner and the group. CHOWN is to change the ownership. car::car, that means as a user, the user and the group both will be changed for .ssh folder, and it should be recursive because the folder SSH containing multiple files, as I remember it should. So it's better to provide a r-r, that means r somehow didn't work. So see, those are the problems using Linux, because here in this distribution of Linux, I think CH own a piece of software that I think is getting updated and some kind of modification is being done. But I am sure this is the command I used to use to change the ownership. Anyhow, right now I needed one file, that is the authorized key. I have already made the necessary changes. Now I think I will be able to copy SSH ID. Let's see, it is already done. Now I will be SSHing to the D12. Yes, see, now it is not asking for any passwords. Now let's try to run some Ollama commands. Ollama list is a command. It will provide some list of already downloaded Ollama compatible AI models. And now I get to know there are 3 models I am having. So what is the command to run the Ollama? Ollama run. See, let's first try the biggest model first, and the -- verbose. That means it will produce some extra information of each and every transaction. It takes a little bit of time to load the model from the disk to RAM and RAM to VRAM, that means the GPU RAM. First, I will try simple high. See what is the speed. Evolution rate is 37 tokens per second and prompt evolution is near around 70. Now take on my local system. Now take a look on those other models, how they perform. See, I have tested the biggest one. This one is having the largest size. It performed very well. Now we test the second one. See, I have already selected that text and it gets copied into my clipboard. So copy and paste becomes very easy on my terminal. So I used to use these tips and tricks. Let's try high again. See how fast it is. It gave like 45 tokens per second and the prompt evolution was more than 61 tokens per second. So it came double, and let's see, the duration is 145 millisecond. Evolution duration seems the same, but it was very fast. Let's press Ctrl D to exit And now let's try another one that was the lightest one. The model is Qwen 3.6 billion model, that is 522 MB only size. That means this model is also very fit to run within a browser. I will definitely try this one on the browser itself. Right now, let's try to run this on the CLI itself. Let's see how fast it is. It was like the loading time felt instant, 228 tokens per second on a consumer grade device. I think I am running NVIDIA 3060, especially as I see the GPU memory is 12 GB. So it must be NVIDIA GPU 3060 having 12 GB variation. Now it's time to verify if this piece of software is actually using the GPU or not. To verify it, it's much easier to ask for a longer generating content, like a long poem. See, it was like within a second having 209. Let's run NV top over here. As I see, 9 GB is getting utilized, but the GPU usage is 0%. See, now let's run a long poem again and see, it ran for a fraction of a second. See, it ran only for a fraction of a second and it was done. So we barely can penetrate the GPU, but we confirm that it is using the GPU itself. See, if I try to see the packages, Ollama packages over my system, like using Octopi. I like Octopi because whenever I try to install any software, it provides a list of dependencies. Which one do I want to install? So those options are very useful, like Ollama. See, Ollama CUDA, Ollama ARCOM. Docs we don't need right now. Ollama CUDA and Ollama ARCOM. Ollama CUDA is for NVIDIA and Ollama ARCOM is for AMD GPUs. And normal, the Ollama, if you install only the Ollama, it will use the CPU by default. Remember this. Let's exit from here and let's try to run Gemma 3 and try to see if the CPU a long poem. See, it is generating the poem and the GPU usage shoot up to 90%, 93%. That means it is utilizing the CPU itself. Later on, all those tests I will perform on my local laptop itself, so that we will be able to compare how fast it feels. Truly fast, very fast. I think it is more than equivalent to a provider like ChatGPT or similar providers. Let's see the list, Ollama list, to list those models. See, the Gemma 3N, it is compatible with general purpose systems, and there are several models available for Ollama. If you see, DeepSeek R1 comes first, but the DeepSeek is having reasoning capability. That is the reason why it performs little slower. But if you need it, then it is the best to go for. But if you don't need that one, you can prefer Gemma 3. There are two versions, Gemma 3 and Gemma 3N. Gemma 3N is optimized for day-to-day hardware. Like if you don't have a CPU or TPU, you can go for Gemma 3N. There are other models like Qwen 3. Qwen 3 is having 0.6 billion parameter. That means right now it is providing the lightest version of Ollama compatible AI model. Another point to remember, all those models are capable to process text only. Some of them are having image capability. They cannot generate image, but they have the ability to understand the content of the image, and they can understand the writing within the image itself. It is not full-fledged OCR, that means optical character recognizer, but still it is having some capability of the OCR. So now we have got some understanding how Ollama performs on the GPU. Now let's try on my CPU itself, that means within my laptop itself, and let's see how it performs on day-to-day devices. Later on we will proceed on mobile, on various desktop CPUs, especially the older ones, that ones not having the capability of multimedia processing, especially the Intel ones before the 4th generation. That means 1st gen, 2nd gen, 3rd gen. After 4th generation, they provided some kind of AI facility and multimedia encoding and decoding instructions within those CPUs. So those CPU performs very well compared to older ones. Now let's continue to evaluate Ollama and Ollama models on CPU itself. Let's try the heaviest one first because we did not have enough memory, that means the GPU RAM, to run 27 billion parameter model on the GPU. But on this laptop, I am having 32 GB of RAM, so I would be technically able to run 27 billion parameter model locally. Let's try to run this heaviest model first. See, Ollama is not started yet. That is the reason why I like Arch Linux especially, or any Arch distribution, because by default Arch do not start any daemons, even the Docker, the Ollama, anything. By default, it is not started. You will have to start it manually, or you can enable the auto start. What I like is the default choice is not auto starting. By the way, anyhow, let's concentrate on Ollama models. Ollama start is the command which will enable the Ollama daemon on API and the CLI. Now we can run this Ollama. Now it is loading the 27 billion parameter model into RAM. That is the reason why it is taking some time. Let's try to see what is the size of this model. Ollama list is the command, I think. Yes. See, 27 billion model is having 17 GB. So that is the reason why it was taking a long time. See, under the hood, it also used the same API, even within the CLI. Let's try hi. See, it is even taking quite a lot of time just to start. And it is very painful to wait for those tokens. That means texts to come. Just stop. I can press Ctrl C to stop, but I think those verbose information would not be available later on. Let's wait to complete. See, those are the decision points to choose which model you want to use. If you choose a heavier model on less capable system, you will get this type of bad performance. And I think I don't have enough patience to bear. Let's type Ctrl C. Yes, my intuition was right. I don't see any detailed information like the performance metrics. Let's ask a short question so that the execution time becomes less. Come on, just give me a short answer. Your name, just the name. I don't want to know much for now. Yes, I see. Evolution rate is 1.17 tokens per second, and the load duration is not much. Still, the performance is very low. Let's quit from here and run another model. What are the model list? Yes. Now we will try the DeepSeek R1 1.5 billion model parameter. Let's paste it over here and try to run. It is 1.5 GB, so it is expected to run faster than the previous one. Let's try simple high. Yes, it is quite bearable and pretty much fast. As I see, it yields 14 tokens per second. Quite good. A poem. Yes, I don't think it should be called as a poem. Still, it is a poem. Okay, the rate is little dropped. Let's try a long poem. See, now it is thinking. Here the funny part comes. Like, it will first think, it will first reason, then it will start answering. See, usage by usage, it is degrading its performance. Let's try to see if the input token is the factor. Okay, we got some idea. It is working pretty fast. Now it's time to evaluate the Gemma 3 1B parameter. Let's exit from here. Now it's time to evaluate Gemma 3 1 billion model. Let's try our pretty question. Hi. It is blazing fast. It feels blazing fast, and it is giving like 15 tokens per second. So we got the idea. If the parameter size is below 3 or 4 GB, any kind of CPU, like after the 5th or 6th generation of Intel CPU and the AM2 or AM3 generation of AMD CPUs are quite capable to run on locally. The next would be to test Gemma's image capability. It can support input as an image. So do I have any model that can Gemma 3.1b? Gemma 3.1b. This model supports only text. So I need one model that can support input images. or image. Let's try Gemma 3 4B. I don't think I have. Let's try to install this one first. Right now it is pulling the Gemma 3 4B, having the capability to input images. It would take some time, like 10 minutes. We'll skip this part and continue. The model download is complete and this model is capable to understand images. Let's see how this Gemma 3 4 billion model performs, especially for the images. I have downloaded a image containing a cat and dog. Let's see if it can identify. In the meantime, I will try to install a package called GPU Top. What it can do, it can display a top-like UI for the GPU, even if you are having NVIDIA, AMD or Intel GPU. See, the Intel GPU is working pretty hard to decode the image. See, 40% usage. If I see the HTOP, it gives a generic information like what is the percentage of Ollama is using. Another point I want to mention, by default, Ollama use only 4 cores. If you are having like multiple core, more than 4 cores, it will not use all of them. Let's try to use another visual CLI tool that is called BTOP. I like BTOP a lot because it gives a clean, timely updating information chart. See, we got the image information. It has rightly provided detailed information about that image, especially first identifying those objects, that means cat and dog, and along with that it has identified German Shepherd, that means the breed of the dog, the color, even the expression, that means it can identify color, it can identify expressions, it can identify object and animals, even color pattern. Quite impressive for a small model, and the performance was quite good enough. Now I will try if it can perform OCR related tasks. Can you read the image? Let's put the image containing some text, and this is a screenshot. It is expected to consume a lot of time, so I will skip that one. It has successfully identified all those texts, and I think it tried to understand the meaning also, because as I see, especially this line explicitly informs that it is having some kind of command line interface of the Ollama application. The evolution rate was expected near around 4 or 5 tokens per second. To summarize today what we have done, we have installed Ollama, we have tested Ollama various models, we have tried to understand which model to go for. We have tested Ollama models on GPU, we have tested Ollama models on CPU, we have tested those models so that it gets easier to decide which model to choose. Later on, we will try to train Ollama models using our custom data so that it knows our existing data and context so that it can answer better. Bye for today. See you tomorrow.